these are something called the multiple angle. These are the double angle formulas. We're going to do a half angle formula. There's just a ton of formulas. And speaking of that, this is right in the textbook if you want to look for it. But also, I'm going to find you a really nice Trig study guide sheet. It'll be good just to have that handy. I mean, you can obviously write this down and have it in your notes, but you know, in case you just want to have it handy to look at and print it up, and it'll be nice and neat. Anyhow, just more formulas that we can use to solve. There are some other uses for that, but because this is the double angle formula, you'd be doubling a number that you already know, which doesn't help you as much. When we do the half angle formula, you'll be able to see how you can use it to find angles that you don't know. So, kind of like the sum and difference formula. All right. So let's solve some things here. Let's start right here. Find all solutions of 2 cosine x plus sine of 2x. That's not sine squared x. That's sine 2x. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the double angle formula here. Normally I would say, can I solve this? Can I factor something out? I really can't. There's not much I could do here. So I do see the double angle, and I'm going to switch it out. So I'm going to have 2 cosine x, and the double angle formula for sine 2x is 2 sine x cosine x. And now I have something that I can deal with a little bit better because I can factor it. So I'm going to take a 2 and a cosine out front, leaving behind a 1 on this term and a sine on this term. Now this was factored. I can split it up and set each part equal to 0. And I can get some solutions here. Alright, here cosine x equals 0. That occurs at pi over 2. And it occurs at 3 pi over 2. And here, sine x equals -1. That occurs at 3 pi over 2. So I don't have to rewrite that one because we kind of already did that one. Anyhow, n is an integer, just like always. And there's our solution. Okay. So we're just using these formulas as more tools to help us solve. That's all. Okay. I mean, that's all. There's not really, there are some other applications, like I said, of the half angle formulas, but the double angle formulas, there's not much else. All right, I do have one more example for you. Right here, this is sine of 2x times sine of x equals cosine x. And I'm going to do my best to simplify this. And first thing I see, the 2x, I'm going to use the double angle formula. So 2 sine x cosine x, and that's what this changed into. This sine x is going to move right down, and that's going to equal cosine x. Okay, so now I'm thinking about factoring and solving, so I want to move the cosine x over to the other side, and I'm going to see what I can factor. I'm going to put the two sine x's together, so sine squared x minus cosine x, because I moved it to the other side, equals 0. Okay, so the sine x is combined to sine squared x. There's the cosine x. This cosine x I subtracted and it moved to the left side. Now everything's on the left. I can factor. I'm going to factor out a cosine x. So cosine x, leaving behind 2 sine squared x minus 1. I can continue to solve here, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to split it up. So cosine x equals 0. And 2 sine squared x equals, minus 1 equals 0. Let's solve this one first. This, of course, is the easy one. Cosine is equal to 0 at, once again, pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. Over here, I'm going to have to do a little bit of solving. Let's see, add the 1 over to the other side. Let me do it over here. So 2 sine squared x equals 1. Divide the 2. So sine squared x equals 1/2. Now I'm going to square root both sides. And I need a plus or minus. So sine of x equals plus or minus 1 over the square root of 2. And if you rationalize that, 1 over the square root of 2 is actually square root of 2 over 2. So plus or minus the square root of 2 over 2. And that is all of the 45-degree angles around the unit circle. So that's going to occur at, and I'll just put all of those values over here. I'll continue on this list. Well, I'll do all the initial values. So that would be pi over 4 in the first quadrant, 3 pi over 4 in the second quadrant, 5 pi over 4 in the third quadrant, and 7 pi over 4 in the fourth quadrant. So let's tack the 2 pi n on each of those, and then we will be done. Where n is an integer. Oh, bad circle. Alright, so like I said, here's just a few more formulas, and you're just going to use them as a tool in order to solve equations. I have 5 equations for you. That would be page 394. 9 through 17, odd. Okay, turn them in, just like always. And next week we will finish this lesson, and we will learn the half angle formula. As always, any questions, please ask me.